Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round 3 of our League Cup that happened at Die Hard Games on November 23rd, 2024. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format everyone wants. Jolly League Challenge, Thursday, December 19th at 6 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games. Go see more info in this video's description and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as League Challenges, League Cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. Over on the left, we have a control wall deck, and on the right-hand side, we've got Regidrago V-Star. Our Regidrago V-Star could not find a basic Pokemon for 3 turns, so they had to do 3 mulligans, meaning our control player on the left-hand side gets to draw 3 more cards to start their turn. Something you do not want control to have is access to more resources. So here we go, see the 3 mulligan cards taken on the left-hand side, and our game gets started now. Noibat versus Regidrago V. Our Regidrago player on the right-hand side is going first with the Mew EX on the bench as well. They're going to start things off for us with an Ultra Ball. That item card has you discard 2 cards in order to search your deck for a Pokemon, basic or evolution. Haxorus gets discarded here to be potentially copied by Regidrago V-Star's attack later, its attacks of course, as well as a superior energy retrieval going down to this Ultra Ball this early. We'll see if it matters later in the game, as a Teal Mask Ogerpon EX is found off of that Ultra Ball and put onto the bench here. Now we're going to see a Teal Dance. Its ability has you accelerate a grass energy to the Teal Mask Ogerpon and then draw a card. Another energy accelerated into play for free to be moved with that energy switch now. Moving it over to our Regidrago V, and things are passed over to our control wall player on the left-hand side, who immediately benches that Cornerstone Ogerpon EX, is that what it's called? Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX. That brown card here over on the left-hand side. 210 HP, and it has the ability Cornerstone Stance. Prevent all damage from attacks done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon that have an ability. Think about the only Pokemon that can attack that doesn't have an ability in Regidrago's deck is that Regidrago V. The Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX also has the Demolish attack for 3 energy, 140 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance, or by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So that is definitely the wall card to use in this matchup here, as we see 2 of them hit the bench over on the left-hand side. Noibat in the active just because that's what the player started with. I don't think they wanted to have that in play if it was their choice in this matchup. Our Regidrago player is going to read the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX just like we did. Make sure they download as much info as possible to better inform their next actions. And they can see what this game is going to look like already. As our control wall deck player shuffles things up from this nest ball here, preparing for their next action. Let's see if they've got any more plays this turn. Pokegear 3.0 now will look at the top 7 cards of the deck, and then it can find a supporter card in those 7 cards to add to the hand. The boss's orders is plucked out of the top 7 thanks to that Pokegear 3.0. The rest of the cards get shuffled back into the deck, of course. I guess you could trap a Ogerpon EX, Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, in the active spot, making the turn a little more awkward for the player on their next turn. But we'll see what our control wall players got for us. There's an Iono as another supporter option, but they may be eyeing up this Ultra Ball here first. Nope, gonna go for the Iono. That supporter card has both players shuffle their hand, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. Both players get 6 cards from the top off of this Iono at this point in time. With the current board state, of course. Let's see if we can find an energy to attach to the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. We did. We found the fighting energy. Of course, its attack costs 1 fighting, 2 colorless. Another Nest Ball found and played here on our left-hand side. That allows the player, remember, to search their deck for a basic Pokemon to add to the bench. Another Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX with the glorious Cornerstone Stance ability. Remember, prevent all damage from attacks done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon that have an ability. Damage counters can still be placed because that's different than attack damage, but this Cornerstone Stance will make things awkward for the opponent. As a Hisuian Heavy Ball is played next, that item card has the player look at their prize cards. They may swap the Heavy Ball with a basic Pokemon in that prize card stack, but no target is identified here. The prize cards get shuffled back up and laid back out face down. Heavy Ball goes to the discard pile. Anything else? Nope, just a pass back over to our Regidrago player. Noibat, single prizer in the active spot, isn't a bad place to be either for this wall stall, wall control, whatever you guys want to call it, deck. As our Regidrago player now puts another Regidrago V into play. And let's see what strategy they're going to choose for this game. Are they going to start trying to attack with the Regidrago V? Maybe not right away, as Regidrago V-Star is evolved in the active spot. It does have an ability, so its attacks cannot do any damage to the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX. Nest Ball is played next in order to search a deck for a basic Pokemon to add to the bench. Pop quiz. Can you play a Nest Ball if your bench is full? Let me know in the comments. As our Regidrago player taking a good look through their deck and seeing what's the best course of action now that they can see what our wall control deck is up to. Or should I say what their opponent's wall control deck is doing. I wonder if they've ever played. If you're watching this video, Regidrago player, let me know in the comments if you've ever played against this stall deck before, or one like it. As a third Regidrago V is put into play now off of this Nest Ball, they may have identified that this needs to be their attacker this game, as Teal Mask Ogerpon uses Teal Dance to accelerate grass energy to itself and draw another card. The Regidrago V-Star, though it cannot do damage, attack damage to the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon, it does put that V-Star power ability into play. Legacy Star, I think that's what it's called. Boss's Orders now brings up a Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon from the bench into the active spot. Getting a little aggressive here, as now we are seeing that Legacy Star flip that V-Star marker, discard the top 7 cards of your deck that Regidrago V-Star ability has you do, and then you may put 2 cards from your discard pile into your hand. So pick 2 cards, any 2 cards that you need right away. I hear that it's better to save that for as long as possible, that V-Star power ability. The longer you save it, the more likely you are to win the game. That's what the pros say, at least. This one being used kind of early, but you know, you also just got to do what you got to do sometimes. Let's see what the grabs here are for our Regidrago player. Looks like they decided on a Ultra Ball and a Fire Energy. Ultra Ball being played again now, discarding that Dragapult EX and the Cleffa in order to search their deck for a Pokemon. The hand is thinned down pretty low, so a Mew EX restart could get involved here, as the player searches their deck for a Pokemon to grab off of Ultra Ball. They eyed up that Radiant Charizard and chose it. It has an ability as well. Unfortunately for our Regidrago player here in this Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon matchup. Fire Energy attached to the active Regidrago V-Star. Interesting. Radiant Charizard hits the bench here, and then Mew uses its Restart ability to draw up to 3 cards in hand. Energy switch now. We'll switch the Grass Energy to the active Regidrago V-Star. And they're going for this Dragapult EX Phantom Dive strategy. Now, Dragapult EX's Phantom Dive attack. Well, I guess let's talk about the Regidrago V-Star first. One thing at a time, right? Regidrago V-Star has the Apex Dragon attack for 2 grass and a fire. Choose an attack from a dragon type Pokemon in your discard pile and use it as its attack. So pretty simple. Regidrago V-Star copies dragon type Pokemon's attacks from the discard pile. It can copy the Dragapult EX attack since it's in the discard pile currently, and we're going to copy that Phantom Dive. It deals 200 to the active, and it places 6 damage counters on the opponent's bench Pokemon in any way you like. Well, the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX Cornerstone stance blocks that 200, or prevents that 200 damage done to the active Pokemon, but those 6 damage counters can still be placed to the bench because the Cornerstone stance only prevents attack damage, not the placement of damage counters. 6 damage counters going on to the bench Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon that has an energy on it. Makes sense. Let's try to trap a Cornerstone Mask in the active spot while dealing damage to the bench is the current strategy here. Play is passed back over to our left-hand side stall wall side of the table, as an energy lotto is played now. That item card has the player look at the top 7 cards of the deck, and they may put an energy card they find there into their hand, special or basic. Looks like a fighting energy is the target off of the energy lotto this time. The rest of the cards get shuffled back up into the deck. Still a ways away from attacking with the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX unless they get the double turbo energy involved. But let's see what else our wall control deck player, if you're watching this, let me know in the comments what you call this deck. Basic fighting energy attached to the active Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX, and things are just passed back over to our Regidrago player on the right hand side. Next is Professor's Research. That supporter has you discard the hand and draw 7 fresh new cards. Sometimes you just gotta let it all go. Start fresh. Get that Giratina V-Star in the discard pile, so its attack can be copied as well if it becomes relevant, as Teal Mask Ogerpon Teal dances, accelerating an energy to itself and drawing 1 card. Our players now checking out their discard pile, seeing what options are available there. They've got another Dragapult attack, but will that advance the board enough for them? Grass energy attached to a bench Regidrago V. Energy switch now moves an energy from the Teal Mask Ogerpon to that Regidrago V. It's close to being able to attack with its Dragon Laser attack. That's pretty good. And I think we're just seeing another Phantom Dive. 6 more damage counters on the bench. 0 damage dealt, attack damage dealt to the active, thanks to that Cornerstone stance ability. As play continues on the left-hand side here, our control wall deck, they use their ace spec of their deck, the Scoop Up Cyclone. That item card allows you to pick up a Pokemon from in play and put it into your hand, and all cards attached to it, of course. The most important thing that does is erases those 12 damage counters that were on that Pokemon over the last 2 turns, accumulating over the last 2 turns. It's immediately put right back onto the bench. That Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX is another fighting energy attached to the active Cornerstone Ogerpon. Anything else before a pass of the turn? Well, looks like play will resume over on our right-hand Regidrago side. That's got to be frustrating. See Seeing those 2 turns of damage virtually erase there with that 1 pink card. So next is a Super Rod to shuffle back into the deck, and a Grass Energy card from the discard pile, of course. And let's see what other plays they have available to them. Remember, attacking with the Regidrago V is an option. It doesn't have an ability. So Boss's Orders will bring up the Noibit into the active spot. And then looks like another Phantom Dive onto the bench. Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX with energy. Aha. Oh, of course, now the Phantom Dive will do its damage to the active Noibat. 200 damage, knocks out the Noibat. 6 damage counters goes on to the bench Cornerstone Ogerpon EX. That one moves into the active spot over on the left-hand side, and play resumes there. First prize card taken. Mist Energy, oh my gosh. Now attached to that Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. The Mist Energy, of course, prevents effects of attacks done to the Pokemon that it's attached to. So the damage counter spread is an effect of an attack. So that can't be damaged by the Phantom Dive damage counters. So I think it's completely protected from Dragapult EX's attack now. As our Regidrago player is going to check that out and confirm things here. And we're going in with this Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX with Demolish. 140 damage. Threatening the 2-shot on this Regidrago V-Star. As play resumes over on its side, the right-hand side here, how can our Regidrago player respond and put themselves in a good position? Let's see. Regidrago V's attack does 130. Not enough to clean up the KO on the Cornerstone Mask in the active, but it can put a lot of pressure on. That's what they choose to do, so they're going to basic switch into that Regidrago V with 2 Grass Energy. Is there a Fire Energy in hand, or way to find it? Well, there is that Professor's Research, discarding the hand, discarding the Regidrago player's pink card, that Prime Catcher here. No way to get it back now that the Legacy Star has been used. And they found a Fire Energy at least. I'm sure they're happy with that. So Fire Energy attached to the active Regidrago V. Dragon Laser is online now. Teal Mask Ogerpon on the bench dances once again, accelerating a Grass Energy to itself and drawing a card. Regidrago player is looking through their discard pile, downloading as much info as possible. Anything else to do before this Dragon Laser attack? Oh, Dragon Laser, 130 to the active and 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So 190 damage currently on the active Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. And then 3 damage counters, or 30 damage, can go on to the bench. Yeah, I think it can. Looks like our players haven't done it yet. I don't see any reason why not quickly, but let me pause things right here. Thank you guys for your patience as I research this a little bit more here in the Professor's Lab today. Dragon Laser, 130 damage. This attack also does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance. And then Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. Aha! That's what's going on here. Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX, of course, has the Terra attribute at the top of the card there. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks, both yours and your opponent's. So there we go. That's why we can't spread the 30 damage as the Dragon Laser's effect of an attack. Our players are on top of things here as our Cornerstone Mask player attaches a rescue board to the active Pokemon, giving it free retreat here. That way it can retreat into a fresh Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX. Now let's see if they can reset this damage here this turn. It does not look like they can. The good news is that it is protected currently from bench damage thanks to the Mist Energy countering the Dragapult attack, and of course the Terra attribute countering like Dragon Laser 30 spread or whatever. So our Regidrago player has the turn now, putting a Temple of Sinnoh into play. Okay, that's a way around it. Temple of Sinnoh is a powerful stadium card that says all special energy in play have no effect and only provide a colorless energy. So that mist energy is nothing but a blank colorless energy card currently. We have 19, 20, 21, yeah, 100. So we can pick up the KO. Oh no, we can't actually. We can pick up the KO with the Dragapult attack on the bench. Lots of interactions happening here right now. I love it. We can pick up the KO on the bench with the Dragapult attack, thanks to the Temple of Sinnoh, but not the Dragon Laser, thanks to the Terra ability on that Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. You guys' head hurt yet? Ultra Ball now being played by our Regidrago player, discarding 2 cards, 2 dragon cards, perfect, in order to search the deck for a Pokemon. No target found there, so they really just want to thin the hand and get those dragon cards in the discard pile. More options here. Normally a great thing if they weren't up against this Cornerstone Ogerpon deck. So a Dragon Laser will be dealt to the active Ogerpon by the Regidrago V, 130 damage. None, remember, can be dealt, no damage, attack damage can be dealt to the bench thanks to that Terra attribute. And play will continue over on our left hand wall control side of the field. Let's see if they could find something like a penny. The lucky penny. Professor Turles would be okay as well, Professor Turles scenario, but penny would be optimal. Double turbo energy attached to the active in order to pay retreat to go into a fresh Cornerstone, and things are passed back over to our Regidrago player. Giant discard pile, small deck here at this point. Nothing else to do but Dragon Laser for 130. Lots of damage on the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon side of the field as play resumes there. And it looks like it was just a pass. No cards to be played or no cards chosen to be played here by our Ogerpon player. And our Regidrago player is taking their turn now. They're going to check out that Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon card to make sure they're not missing anything here before another Dragon Laser. Aha, they do have that canceling Cologne in hand. That's something I wasn't considering here. No need to play it yet though, just Dragon Laser and chill for 2 prizes. Heavily damaged Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon moves into the active spot here. Boss's orders being played in order to bring up a Regidrago V into the active spot on the other side, trying to stall them out. That Regidrago V does have a 3 retreat cost as well, so it's kind of difficult to move without something like a switching card. Let's see if this stall tactic pays off. So our Regidrago player assesses their hand. That's what our control wall deck needs now, is time to get the correct cards in hand to better control the board. Earthen Vessel being played by our Regidrago player here, discarding a card from the hand in order to search the deck for up to 2 basic energy cards. You have to either way you have to manually attach 3 times to this Regidrago in the active. I guess there are energy switches you can get involved, but there's been a couple, 2 or 3 played already. Of course, the deck usually plays 4, and I didn't keep perfect count of them. So there are options here as they find the grass energy from the deck with that Earthen Vessel to add to the hand. It's like they're debating on just attaching to the active a few times here. Is that what they'll have? The best thing that they've got? Got to keep track of that Temple of Sinnoh that's in play as well. Doesn't really it's not really a factor to our Regidrago player, but energy just attached to the bench, Ogerpon, and things are passed back over to our Cornerstone Mask player. Let's see what they've got. Can they find those cards to reset the damage or to heal the damage, such as Penny? Yes, that Penny is found here. Alright, that supporter Penny says it's kind of like the Scoop Up Cyclone, where you can pick up a Pokemon and all cards attach, or put a Pokemon in play and all cards attached to it into your hand, but it has to be a basic Pokemon. Well, both these Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon are basic, so Penny is they are valid targets for Penny, should I say. So Penny is going to return the bench Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon and all cards attached to it to the hand. It immediately gets put back down onto the field with 0 damage on it this time. Energy attached to it, and things are passed back over to our Regidrago player. Does our wall control player have a read on this Regidrago player that they cannot move this Regidrago V with 3 retreat costs in the active spot? Has the game already been won here? Stay tuned to find out as things are passed back over to our control player, our control wall player. Alright, Rock Chestplate attached to the bench, Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX, and that is a tool card that says the fighting type Pokemon this card is attached to takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Just what our Regidrago player wants to see here, as another fighting energy is attached to that chest-plated bench Pokemon, and things are passed back over to our Regidrago player with just 2 cards in deck, and it was just a draw and pass from our Regidrago player. Action continues over on our left-hand side here. Arvin, now the supporter for the turn. That supporter allows the player to look through their deck and add to their hand a item card and a tool card. Pokegear 3.0 as the item and Bravery Charm as the tool. Potentially going to give more HP to this active, heavily damaged Teal Mask Ogerpon, or excuse me, Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. It is the battle of the Ogerpons, and this Cornerstone Mask is coming for the crown in this round, as Bravery Charm is attached to the active. And things are passed back over to our Regidrago player. They draw only 1 more card in deck. Now, if you didn't know, an alternate win condition in the Pokemon trading card game, or let's say an alternate lose condition, when you cannot draw a card from your deck at the beginning of your turn. At the beginning of your turn, if you have 0 cards in deck, you lose the game. Keep that in mind in this endgame here, as our Regidrago player looks through their discard pile, looking for a way out. They've got something. Looks like it was a Night Stretcher bringing back that Cleffa to the hand from the discard pile. Is there an Iono now? Yes, okay, there was an Iono. So no deck out yet. Both players, remember, shuffle their hands with this supporter card, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. So the deck was refreshed for our Regidrago player, giving them a few more turns, but can they move this active Regidrago V out of the active spot? They just pass things back over to our Cornerstone Mask player, who instantly plays a Penny. That Penny picks up that heavily damaged Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon in the active spot. The one on the bench that's fully, or almost fully powered up, takes its place. The one that was just picked up, gets put back into play onto the bench. 2 fresh Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX in play currently. The active has a couple energy plus the Rock Chestplate attached to it. The bench one now gets a Bravery Charm attached to it, and things are passed back over to our Regidrago player. Is there a way out of the active? Oh my gosh, energy attached to the bench. Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, and things are passed back over. So all this energy is trapped on the bench here. Let's see how much energy is there. Two fires, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grass. And this plays like around 7 or 8 grass and 2 or 3 fire. So it looks like all that energy is either potentially in the discard pile, or in play, or in prize cards. I don't know how much is in the deck, but remember early on, the Regidrago player had to get rid of the Superior Energy Retrieval as well. That card would allow them to get energy from the discard pile back into the hand, but that item card's gone. Gone for good now that the Legacy Star has been used. So our Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon player will play Arven as their supporter for this turn. You guys know what that one does. Search your deck for a tool and an item card. Rescue Board and Earthen Vessel. Pulled out of the deck by Arven. It looks like the Earthen Vessel is actually going to discard the Rescue Board in order to search the deck for 2 fighting energy to add to the hand. Now we can start swinging with the active Pokemon, with the active Cornerstone Mask Pokemon, but do we want to? You can swing once, I think, but this trapping technique has been super effective here, as we do see 140 damage being dealt to the opposing Regidrago V. Now player will resume on our right hand side again. What a game. There. No, we can't use Muse Restart. More than 3 cards in hand currently. But is anything playable? Does anything help advance this board? No, just a pass back over to our left-hand side here as they attach a fighting energy to the bench. Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. They can take the KO, but then they're allowing another Pokemon to move into the active spot and attack, primarily that Regidrago V on the bench, so they're not going to attack and just pass to our Regidrago player. So our Cornerstone Mask player knows what's going on here, as our Regidrago player has the floor. They're taking a look through their hand, trying to find a way out still. Nope. Just a pass back to our Cornerstone Mask player, who draws and passes. Regidrago player now draws. How many more Iono are there? The deck plays 2 or 3. Alright, the active is evolved into a V-Star to give it more HP. What's the V-Star's retreat? It's still 3, so it doesn't reduce its retreat or anything. Draw pass from our Cornerstone Mask player. Regidrago's turn again. Draw pass. Cornerstone. Now we're just going to see draw passes, right? Alright, our Regidrago player draws the last draws the last card in their deck, and then they're going to go out on their terms, playing a Professor's Research, discarding the hand, drawing 0 cards from deck. They pass things back over to our Cornerstone Mask player, who simply just has to pass in order to win the round 3. That was a pretty good one there, right? As our players show the alternate win conditions in the Pokemon trading card game in this round. Top 4 for our Winter Cup was Iron Thorns in first place, Terapagos Palkia second place, Lost Zone featuring Pikachu in third place, and our Controlling Walls player here rounding up the top 4. Congrats to our League Cup champ and to you all for playing some Pokemon. Thank you. What do you think of this video in the commentary? Please leave feedback in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.